Jacqui and welcome to my YouTube channel, Jacqui of All Trades.
Hi, my name is MK. I am the founder of Filipino Home-Based Moms. FHMOMS as a social enterprise provides livelihood home-based opportunities to Filipino moms. FHMOMS' goals is to end the poverty here in the Philippines. Because when you help a mom, you're actually helping the whole family. And then we also want to provide quality education. And we want to promote women empowerment in the workplace and business.
Po si Vanessa Luperdero, sobrang daming natutulong nila, knowledge, at napaka-friendly ng community. Gusto ko mag-thank you sa FHMOMS dahil as a mother, sobrang pangarap natin na mag-work at home kasama yung mga anak natin, pamilya natin.
In 10 years, I'm seeing FHMOMS as a social enterprise that will help bridge gender equality. And maybe in 10 years, we already have our own platform because right now all of our initiatives are in Facebook.
Hello everyone! Good evening or good afternoon, may araw pa. How are you everyone? Hello. If it's your first time to watch this live or any live from FHMOMS, feel free to comment saan kayo nanonood, or if you have watched before, maybe you can share with us ano ba yung mga previous webinars or live Q&A na inatenan ninyo. Okay, so anyway, let me introduce myself. I never introduced myself yesterday or last night. My name is Mommy Jacqui, and I'm very happy to be your customer service trainer. And I hope that if you have any questions, of course, this is a live Q&A about customer service. So I hope that walang mahihiya. I'm here to help you get on board when it comes to customer service. Like what I've said last night, customer service is applicable in everything. As a freelancer, kailangan natin ito because our clients are also our customers. So customer service or good customer service is really very important. Okay? So, share po ako ng screen ko. So, here you go. Moment. May mga tanong ba so far? Yes, merong galing sa Cavite. Nasa Muntinlupa ako. So, I hope, paano ba to? Let me share my PowerPoint. Oh, it's your first time to watch. Wait lang po Medyo may technical difficulty ata ako. Ayaw siyang mag-share ang screen. Wait lang. I think I need help. Ayaw niya, may settings. Let's just wait. Permission. Sorry.
Hi, Jacqui. This is MK.
Yes, I think I need to permit at ano pa pala may permission with StreamYard. Sorry.
It's okay.
To show my PowerPoint. Anyway, wait lang.
Let's see. Can you send me your PowerPoint link? I'll be the one to share it.
Oh, sure. I sent it sa email mo.
All right. No worries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Screen recording. Asensya na po, first time kong mag-StreamYard. Kaya parang medyo... Ayan. There you go.
Okay.
Ayan. Nag-show na ba siya? Hindi rin siya nag-show.
Ayan. Ayan na. Okay.
Ayan.
All good.
Okay, hello everyone. So this
Can you
would
make it
be...
bigger lang?
Oh, sure. Wait. Gawin natin siyang presentation. There you go. Nakikita ba?
Yes, go ahead.
Ayan. So this is going to be introduction to customer service. And again, my name is Mommy Jacqui. And by the end of this session, hopefully masagot natin lahat ng mga tanong nyo. And ito yung mga pag-uusapan natin. First would be, what is, of course, customer service? Second would be knowing your customers' needs. And then, of course, why is it important that you understand what customer feedback and complaints are? And then, syempre, dahil nagta-training and development tayo for customer service, we need to understand why is it important. We also need to know why is it also important for us to build long-term customer relationships. Okay? So, without further ado, let's start with the first question I posted yesterday. And I appreciate the fact na ang dami sa inyong sumagot. And in fact, I captured a few of them, specifically the first ones, para walang magtampo sa akin na nanay. Okay, so what is customer service? So sabi ng ilan sa inyo, this is what you said yesterday. Customer service is giving the best what is due. Sabi rin ng iba, customer service is active listening, giving the right resolution and meeting the needs beyond expectations. Another mom said, customer service would be assisting customers with their queries and concerns. Pwede rin naman siyang, customer service is assisting the client of their products or services they offer to customers and speak to customers with the utmost respect and detailed answers for every query. Also, it is important din daw acknowledging not just what the customer needs, but also how they feel. I agree with all of these definitions. In fact, dati, talagang isa rin yan sa mga usual definitions ko ng customer service. And I know we have our own definition of customer service. I've also learned along the way that how you define it actually changes over the years. Depende sa, kumbaga parang nag-grow din tayo sa nalalaman natin about customer service. So, with that, simple lang naman actually yung gusto ko munang i-share sa inyo. How does Wikipedia define customer service? It says in Wikipedia, customer service is the provision of service to customers, and I'd like you to take note of these things: before, during, and after a purchase. Okay? I-isolate ko lang yung nakalagay sa Wikipedia. It says here to be specific. Again, it's provision of service to customers before, during, and after a purchase. Additionally, it says also that the perception of success of such interactions is dependent on employees who can adjust themselves, kanino daw? To the personality of the guest. In other words, it's not about you as a customer service provider, but it is about the customer. Actually, very new hindi man na very new, pero it was really parang an eye-opener for me to see it that we are concerned about the before, during, and after the purchase. Back then, when I started out as a customer service rep, medyo matagal na, pasensya na po, alam ko, obvious ang edad ko. So, I started out as a customer service rep back in 2004. And kasi yun yung booming na industry before sa BPO, no? And at that time, akala ko, pag sinabi mong customer service, we talk about only yung customer na tatawag sa'yo. Customers who buy, customers who are nice. But in fact, no, it says here it's before, during, and after. So even if a customer is not yet a buying customer, importante pa rin that you provide them the service that they need. And even after the purchase, and I've seen this in a lot of your comments, you've said that after sales service is also very important. I agree with all of you. Okay? So, baka may ma-miss out lang ako na question. Magpa-pop up naman sa screen, ano? So, there you go. So, importante din, and I've heard this so many times. Oh, meron daw ba mga call center agents dito? Or maybe may mga experience sa customer service? Comment down below. Okay? So, just remember, when you are in a customer service provision type of job, you are the company. it doesn't matter if you are the CEO or first day mo as a customer service representative. For example, let me share with you my own experience. Um, we had a training for two months as a CSR. And it was a telecom company. So, ini-expect ko may tatawag sa akin about a bill or maybe a problem with their phone line. But lo and behold, the customer I got was someone na lost lang ata siya nung araw na yon. Wala lang siyang naisip tawagan kundi yung phone company. So in other words, she's clearly a customer, an existing customer of our company. But in this case, wala siyang concern na kailangan actually from our company. She just needed someone to listen. And as a CSR at that time, I knew for a fact that for her, she needed me to see as the representative of the company I was working with. She needed someone to listen. And I knew I wanted that she would feel our company is there to listen in behalf of the company. I'll be doing that for her. Okay? So, importante na maiintindihan natin na walang pakialam kung ilang beses, kung gaano ka nakatagal sa trabaho mo. For the customer, for your client, you are the company. And oftentimes, you only have one chance. Okay? You only have one chance to make an impression sa iyong customer. Now, that one chance can either be a positive impression or a negative impression. Now, you are the link between your customer and the client or the company. Now, it's your choice. What kind of impression would you like to leave upon your customer or your client? Positive ba or negative? Okay? So, sabi nga natin, di ba, first impressions last. So, that one chance, one time, big time. Give it your best because that might be the only time the customer is actually thinking about finally purchasing from your company. By the way, alam nyo, napansin nyo ba yung template na nilagay ko dito looks like a thumbprint? Because you know what? Customer service should be like a part of you. It's something na dapat sa lahat ng company and tayo bilang freelancers, bilang work from home moms, importante, it is part of us. Integral na siya sa ating pagkatao, kumbaga. Okay? So there. So you only have one chance. Now, the question is it important to leave a positive impression with your customer? What if your customer is irate or rude? Or what if ang tagal-tagal nyo nag-usap, ang nice-nice mo sa kanya, but then again, she did not buy from you? Would you still leave a positive impression with the customer? Of course, the answer is yes. Kasi syempre, you never really know if that customer will call back again. And of course, that is part of your role bilang customer service provider. Okay? So, always think about how do I leave a positive impression with my customers. That's the main goal for you to provide good customer service. Okay? Now, let's talk about knowing your customers' needs. Okay? So, customers' needs naman yung gusto natin talagang i-address every time a customer would call in, every time a customer will chat with us. Kasi ngayon, medyo nag-progress na siya, di ba? Marami ng ways for them to get in touch with us. Merong email, merong social media, merong ano pa ba? Merong minsan face-to-face pa rin na interaction. And of course, you have your phone calls, right? Okay, so how do you know your customers' needs? These are some of the factors you need to consider when you are assisting a caller. Okay? So, una, of course, friendliness. Next, good correspondence manners. Nilagay ko dyan correspondence kasi we all have different ways to get in touch with the customer. Okay? So, nandiyan na yung phone, chat, comment sa Facebook, di ba? And of course, it's important to also check your vocal qualities. Now, vocal qualities is not just about, I would say, yung mismong voice ninyo. Like, for example, in the case of emails, even emails have a voice, okay? It has a voice. In fact, it depends on how you word it, ano yung font mo, ano yung naka-bold, italicized. All of these speak to your customer. And another must-have that you have to have as a customer service provider would be willingness to help and assist. At of course, ang pinaka-importante din dito is your knowledge and competency. Okay? Now, may nagtanong, teka, Mommy Jacqui, what is the difference between customer service and excellent customer service? That's a good question, pero later ko na siya sasagutin. Okay lang? Kasi medyo part siya mamaya about building our long-term relationships. Okay? So, among these factors, the first four, medyo mas madali natin tong matututunan. Like, if you're new on the job, you would have to have these right away. Kasi, it's really hard to be in a customer service role na hindi ka friendly. You're not willing to help. Okay? Now, the knowledge and competency, that may take time, lalo na if it's your first day. But, the other factors that I wrote down here, they would come in very handy para kayo mas matuto or enhance your knowledge and competency as well. Okay? So, yan. Punta na tayo dun sa how do you know your customers' needs further. So, first and foremost, start it right. You have to be prepared for every interaction, every time that the customer will call. I remember, as a freelancer, I've tried this as an outbound customer service and sales rep, no? Na-try ko siya, and I would always end up, kasi automated, no? So, I would end up always getting a machine instead of a live person. So, it's kind of frustrating to be honest, kasi parang you're anticipating that the next call I will be getting will be another machine. Pero syempre, todo project ka, di ba? You have to be really happy and willing to serve. That's your goal at the very start of every call, because iba-iba, like what I've said earlier, you might only have one chance for every customer who will call in, okay? And your customer or client, they definitely deserves 100% of your attention, no matter what had happened in the previous call, whether robot ang nakausap mo, whether napagalitan ka ng previous customer mo, you have to give them 100% of your attention. Now, come to think of it, as customers, we do expect that from our, di ba, yung mga sales reps natin, or even those that we call into. Gusto din natin, we feel, we deserve 100% of attention, right? And ito, nilagay ko siya ng all caps, kasi sa totoo lang, people really hear it. When you smile, they hear it. They hear it from your voice that you're smiling. So ngayon pa lang, if you want to pursue a customer service related role, make sure you practice smiling. Okay? So siguro naman lahat kayo gusto niyo laging nakasmile, di ba? At saka mas masarap ding may kausap na nakasmile lagi. Tama ba? Okay. Sige. Okay, another thing for you to start knowing your customers' needs, you have to also first build rapport. Hindi kasi pwedeng, let's get to the business right away. Sometimes we get trapped into that. Sometimes your customers would have to loosen up a bit. So rapport is defined as a close and harmonious relationship between groups of people or people. And of course, you usually have the same concerns. Kailangan lang ninyong mas maintindihan ng isa't isa, so you would be able to communicate well. Somehow, for you as a customer service provider, you need to be able to have the same language or understand the perspective of your customer. Okay? That said, you might need to know what is your customer's personality style and your style as well, so that you can adjust yourself based on your customer. For example, I remember before, may times na may tatawag, kunyari medyo, pero nangyari talaga to, no? Medyo, I think, sabi naman niya sa akin, senior citizen na siya nung tumawag. Amerikano yung tumawag. And as expected, he would speak slowly. And of course, sa atin, as a customer service representative, if you normally talk fast, you have to slow down a bit. Because the thing is, if I talk fast, the customer will not understand me, right? That's part of no understanding your customer. So the customer was able to open up even better because he knew I was there to try to understand him. I was actually engaging the customer in the conversation, okay? So, ayan. So, aside from that, sinabi nga natin yung understanding the customer, your choice of words matter. Okay? And this is something na medyo tayo as Filipinos, I think we're kind of guilty. Nilagay ko dito yung fillers. Yung mga naririnig nyo to pag nag-i-English kayo, di ba? Like, actually, basically, okay? So these things sometimes it would somehow get in the way of you communicating with your customers. And then also try to use positive words even for negative messages. It's not simply saying, I cannot do that. Maybe you can say, let's find out how would we get the answer for that question. Okay? And then your customers, though it may be their fault, they don't deserve blaming. Okay? We're there to assist them. We're not there to match wits with them. Even if they may have misunderstood something, you have to explain it thoroughly and patiently and in a nice way sa kanila. And there are what we call forbidden phrases in customer service that we also need to avoid. Now, a tip I can give you based on experience would be if you have a chance to record yourself, when, let's say, you get an interview, and this can also apply, for example, during your interview with your clients. Try to record your own interviews and see what are the common fillers, yung mga usually sinasabi mo na dapat hindi mo pala ginagawa. Because it takes awareness for you to actually correct yourself. Okay? So, ayan. Parang wala. May mga tanong ba? Parang na-weird ako. There you go. Sige. Let's move on to the next slide. Now, once you somehow get a connection with the customer, it will be easier for you to dig deeper and go into what we call probing. So parang mag-i-investigate ka na ngayon and you want to have a clear, complete understanding of what the customer really needs and wants. Always remember that sometimes what the customer says is not actually what they mean. So that said, you need to ask closed and open-ended questions. Questions that would give them or allow them to tell you what do they really need? What are the situations involving those needs? Sometimes you can also ask some close-ended questions answerable by either a yes or no or a specific answer, like how many. So may specific siya na sagot, okay? And once you understand, okay, sinabi niya ito yung kailangan niya, you need to confirm if that is really what they need and get their confirmation, because sometimes how we understood what they need is not the same. So you need to validate, ano ba talaga yung narinig ko sa'yo, Mr. Customer? Okay? Did I understand you correctly? This is what you need? And then if possible, and I know this is possible, especially for some bigger clients, you can get feedback from the previous interaction. Meaning, for example, if the customer said that previously she has already emailed you, maybe there's a way for you to backtrack what happened during that previous email or what happened during a previous call or the previous chat or whatever previous interaction that the customer had with you. Because when you think about it, diba, I don't know about you, pero minsan, sometimes that happens when I call into customer service and they would ask you every details from square one, and it sometimes is irritating, right? Imagine mo, you've already said this in the previous call, and then you will say it again, do it again, and again, and the problem is still existent. So you have to somehow go the extra mile and maybe on your end, try to get the feedback from the previous interaction. Okay? So pag nagawa mo na yan, mas madali mo nang maiintindihan what does the customer really need or want. Because remember, yun yung ating end goal. We want to actually resolve what the customer needs and want from us or from our company. Okay? Ayan. So, kunyari, ito yung mga marinig mo. Itumawag ka sa call center or sa customer service hotline, di ba? O sinabi mong, ito, may mga example lang to. You can read some of it and I'll just point out a few. Okay? So, kunyari ito, sinabi niya, I hope this will solve your problem. Kasama ng medyo may, yung boses na medyo parang irritated. Definitely, as a customer, you will be offended, right? Or sometimes, we play the blaming game. And we say, I don't understand why customer service didn't help you. Or, I don't understand why the previous rep did not help you. You don't have to look like a hero and make other customer service reps look bad just so you could look like you're a hero for the customer. Okay? Or ito pa, and this is sometimes this can happen when you call in. Sasabihin sa'yo, I'm sorry it took so long. Now, what do you want? Kasama pa yung medyo may impatient na tone, right? Diba parang minsan on our end, I just wanted your help, right? I really desperately need your help. From the part of the customer, you don't have to get mad at me. I'm here to ask for your help. Okay, so your customer really needs help from your end. There you go. Now, another thing is, put your best foot, so not foot, kasi usually calls yung mga natin, no? So you have to put your best voice forward. Just remember, sometimes it's not just about what you say. It's not just about the words. Well, the words are important, but it's also how you say it that would either create a bad or a good perception of you or the company. So how will the customer perceive you will depend on how you say it. Sabi nga, it's not just the content, it's also the context of what you say. Okay? There you go. So these are just some tips that you can also apply as a customer service provider. You have to be a good communicator, and not just a listener, but a generous listener. You have to be valuable. You have to be curious. You have to be a success driver. You have to be bold. You have to be trustworthy. Be a giver. Be reliable. Be a vital link. Be appreciative. Diba pag inisip nyo lahat ng to, oh, ganun pala pag naging customer service rep ako. So, it's not really very complicated, but you have to have the heart for customer service to really thrive in the field of customer service. Okay? Now, punta naman tayo sa importance of customer feedback and complaints. Okay? So, sabi sa mga dictionary, these are the definition of feedback. So, sabi, it's helpful information or criticism that is given to someone to say what can be done to improve a performance, product, or others. Okay? It can also be information or statements of opinion about something, such as maybe a new product. It basically tells you if it is successful or if it is liked. Para lang yung pag nag-post ka, di ba, ng something on Facebook, did people actually like what you posted? Di ba? They would give you their thumbs up. Okay, that's actually a feedback. Or if they loved it, they may be putting a heart. Okay. Now, the businessdictionary.com says it's a process in which the effect or output of an action is returned. Or kumbaga sa past tense, fed back. So you fed it back to someone so that you can modify the next action. Because the intention of the feedback is not a one-way thing. You learn from the feedback. Okay? There. So, now, why is feedback important? Maraming reason why feedback is important. Without feedback, we won't be able to point out where a product would need improvement. Do you agree? Tama ba? Yes, right? Ano pa? When you allow your customers to give feedback, they would feel involved and important because they would feel like, oh, this company, this rep is actually going to listen to me. Okay? And sometimes, feedback is where we actually get personal recommendations from the customer, right? When they have good feedback, it's easy for them to share it with their friends and family, right? Another thing is it helps you convince customers to come back for more. If you know and if they know that you're always there to try to give them better service all the time because you're always craving for good feedback, they would always come back for more and ask, okay, what's next? How do I upgrade my service? What other products do you have that will address my needs? So do you keep them coming back for more? Okay. And of course, this is one of our ultimate goal. Feedback actually helps you acquire new customers, especially nowadays. Like if you see apps, diba? When you download some apps, you usually get feedback. Nakalagay na doon how many stars. So as a downloader, right? Usually you would see, okay, 5 stars. I think this is a good app, so let me download this one. But if you see that every feedback you see there is not so good, then you would think twice about downloading an app or maybe buying a product from an online shop, right? Now, importantly, even bad feedback can be used to sell a product. Kasi remember, feedback though negative siya, sometimes it's just a simple misunderstanding on the part of the customer. And without that feedback coming from the customer, how will you know that you need to fix something about maybe your instruction manual kasi hindi pala naiintindihan ng customers ninyo if they did not give you, or they were not given the chance to give us feedback, right? And listening to your customer feedback helps you also, of course, build long-term customer relationship. And I think we appreciate that. Diba, minsan when you go to a restaurant, although ngayon wala na tayong dine-in, diba? But when you go to a restaurant before, they have like a feedback form. Tapos parang you feel like, okay, they're hearing me out. So next time, and you see that they've actually listened to your feedback. Kasi kunyari sinabi mo na, laging late, masyadong matagal mag-serve ng food. For example, that was the feedback. Although I don't know if that's still applicable nowadays after this COVID-19, ano. Then the next time you go there, ang bilis na, that means that they actually listen to your feedback. And it keeps you looking for ways to help them improve their service as well. So as a customer, you make the customer feel like, wow, I'm actually involved in the progress of this company. And on the part of your clients, if you're a freelancer, that's something we want to happen. We want your customers to you want them to make you want them to feel like, oh, it's a relationship. It's not just a transactional thing, right? Because sometimes as freelancers or as customer service providers, we make every transaction na lang. Matapos lang, they call in, okay, goodbye, that's it. But then again, it's not just about that. It has to be a customer relationship. Remember, it's about the before, during, and after the purchase. So even if you're done with the service, even when you're done with the sale or the sales, kumbaga, it doesn't end there. You have to continue and get feedback from your customer. Okay? Now, ito ang tanong. Do you look forward to a customer complaint? Diba? Do we look forward to a customer complaint? And I think marami sa atin, lalo na if you're a new person in customer service, would say, I don't like customer complaints. Nakakatakot sila. I don't like irate callers. Am I right? Now, interestingly, there's actually a book that's called A Complaint is a Gift. So, in that book, it says, a complaint is a statement about expectations that have not been met. It is also, more importantly, an opportunity for you and your company and your client to satisfy an unhappy customer by providing the appropriate service or product. Tama? Which makes sense, right? So basically, with a complaint, you and your company will actually benefit from it. Kasi hindi mo naman malalaman, since it's a gift, di ba? Like any other gift, you would not really know what's inside that gift. Yung naka-gift wrap, di ba? Until you open it up and then look what's inside. So somehow you have to dissect what's inside that gift. So every complaint is a gift. And it's just a matter of actually perspective. Diba? Paano pag inisip natin, it's perspective lang talaga. That said, we can say that every feedback counts. Lahat ng feedback, positive or negative, or even neutral feedback would be counted. These are all important. Okay? So, with that said also, mahalaga na maintindihan natin, we need to establish that the customer should be the focal point for partnering change sa ating company. Like if you're going to change a certain feature about the product, it's not about you or your CEO, it's about your customer. It's about what do your customers actually need? Why are you changing a feature on your app? Is this something that will help the customer? So that's something that we could probably take into consideration. Okay? And I'd like to share this quote. Speaking of feedback, whether positive or negative, this is I read this from the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I don't know if you're familiar with Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl is a survivor of the Holocaust. At the time na he's actually trapped, no, he said parang sa sarili niya, what he said to himself is that when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are able or we are challenged to change ourselves. So as a customer service provider, you have a choice whether to look at the negative feedback as a totally negative feedback na parang downfall mo na siya, or if you would take it as a challenge. Which reminds me, hindi ko na ba mention yung company, but di ba recently, there's this courier, di ba, na medyo nagkaroon siya ng konting challenge, di ba? And it's actually, sa akin, I'd like to think of it like, for that company, they can no longer change the situation, but they are challenged to how they will change themselves. So you have to, as a customer service provider, when you're given a situation where, okay, the customer's irate, she's already frustrated, what do I do? You can no longer change that situation, right? But you can always challenge the way you deal with the customer. Okay? So, kasi any feedback, the customer should feel, they should feel that every feedback you give them is actually important. There you go. So now that you have their feedback, let's go to the importance of training and development in customer service. I've been in training for quite some time. I've been a trainer since January 2006 in different industries. And I've seen how it's very important to have training and development, especially in customer service, because it's easier said than done. Do you agree? It's easier said than done. Minsan, we're all expected to give that, but it seems very easy. What Unfortunately, what we usually know is just the tip of the iceberg. Yung akala mo madali lang maging customer service rep, but then when you're on the job itself, oh, it's not as easy because you need to do this, you need to think about this, you need to research that, you need to document this. There are so many things you need to do while doing the customer service job, right? So without the proper training, without the proper orientation, you would have a hard time really. And speaking of training, I classified the things that you need to learn into two different, I would say, divisions, which is basically the skill and the will, right? So with training, you will be able to equip yourself with the right skill and knowledge. Remember the knowledge and competency we talked about earlier? You need to know what are those skills and the knowledge that you have to have for this job. But more importantly, the will part is also important. Because you know what? Right mindset and attitude is also very important when you deal with a customer, especially with irate callers. Hindi uubra dito yung fighting fire with fire. Pag galit si customer, galit ka din, right? Kasi kapag ganon, ang mangyayari, syempre mas lalong magagalit si customer, right? Now, if I remember, share ko sa inyo, no? I remember before, may kasamaan ako na ang nagiging parang ang tawag doon, parang libangan niya after getting an irate caller would be to smoke. So hindi ko naman alam kung iba sa inyo ganun din. Maybe you can comment down below ano yung mga ginagawa nyo to ease up your mind and have the right mindset again. But bottom line is, like what I've said earlier, every customer deserves 100% of your attention. Every customer deserves parang fresh call. It's the first call of the day every time. And with that said, 'di ba? Ibig lang sabihin nun, yung mindset mo nung yung gaano ka ka-excited dun sa first call mo. dapat ganun pa rin siya kahit yung pinaka-end call na. Parang kunyari, nagkaroon ka na ng 100 irate callers for the day, di ba? Tapos siya yung pang 101, dapat yung mindset mo na, yes, I'm still here to help you. Dapat ganun pa rin. Okay? Because they never really know if you're about to go home, right? Or if it was your first call of the day. But for the customer, they feel like, I'm the customer here. I'm always right. I deserve your attention. I deserve your care. Okay? Now, so what will you expect? Three things, actually. It's all about you, your customer, and of course, the process. So when you're involved in a customer service job, important that you have the skills, like specifically listening and communication skills. Notice that I added listening skills because especially that most of your customers will most likely be US clients, right? What I found out is that, as Filipinos, medyo second language na natin ng English. We can just learn a bit more and do away with accent neutralization. So when you have a neutral accent, you can be understood by the client. But the problem is sometimes the listening part is where we have a struggle with, especially if may kakaibang accent yung customers ninyo. Sometimes even if you have that American accent, hindi mo naman siya maintindihan. So parang hindi rin kayo nagkakaintindihan. So for those who are seriously considering also, for example, having foreign clients, diba? Try to really listen. Nung rep ako before, I would really, after ng training, makikinig ako o manunood ako ng mga English movies and see like, ganun ba talaga sila magsalita? And see like, if I did not have enough training, maintindihan ko ba yung sinabi nila? So that's something that you can also incorporate. Now, another thing is there are different types of customers. So in training, you will know how do you handle each type of customer, because each customer, since they are different in their the nature of their concerns and how you handle them, the treatment should also be different. If it's a loyal customer, you definitely treat her differently from a customer who's not happy with your service. Okay? And of course, as a customer service provider, you need to learn the whole process. The whole process of, kunyari, call ba siya? How does it go? How do you open the call? How do you close it? What do I say if I need to acknowledge? Are there transfer and hold techniques? How do I advise them that this is what they need to do? Or what I need to, if I need to transfer them, how do I tell them? These are things that sometimes we don't really know yet. So training and development will actually help you understand it and equip you, okay? So empowering you is the bottom line. It is the cornerstone philosophy of training and development in customer service. We need to make sure, just like, with FHMOMS, we're here to help you change lives, diba? One mom at a time. It's all about empowerment. We need to be empowered as a customer service provider. That's our cornerstone philosophy. We need to make sure that we have the right foundation. Otherwise, just like in this picture, madaling mag-fall yung mga rocks, diba? If you don't have the right foundation. Now, let's see. Yes, meron daw Brit. Ano to? Na-try ko before na Brit. And yes, they actually curse. And, for a lot of Filipinos, sorry, I know we're going on to a different topic now, the different section. But, that's really true. Kasi, you know what? One of the things that, balikan ko lang dito. One of the things that shocked me as a customer service rep is the disconnect between culture. So sometimes, yung sinasabi nga nila, minsan pinagmumura ka, ganyan, sa call, you feel like, what did I do? And as Filipinos, sometimes we're really very sensitive, right? So that cultural difference and nature of us being a bit on the sensitive side, we feel like it's a personal attack. When in fact, sometimes, the customer isn't really personal about the comment. She or he does not mean to curse you. But maybe he's just really not happy with the situation that he can't help but say those, kung ano mga words na yon, no? And it hurts, right? It hurts us. But, for your customers, for them, minsan wala lang yon. So you have to understand also that. Now, without the proper training, nangyari na to sa akin ha, may mga trainees ako, after ng training nila, they would just resign on the first call pa lang kasi iyak na sila na sa ayaw na nila kasi inisip nila, galit sa akin yung customer, parang lahat sila ayaw na sa akin, ganyan. Kasi nahihirapan siyang mag-communicate, kumonect sa customer. So, you need to understand where your customers are coming from. Because again, our customers are the center of what we do. Okay? So now, let's talk about the importance of building long-term customer relationships. So ito naman yung pinaka-end goal talaga natin, have long-term relationships. Hindi lang siya usual na relationship, transactional like what I've said earlier, one time, big time. If you want a sustainable business, if you want to have a sustainable relationship with your client, it has to be, or your goal should be building long-term. So you build it, and it has to be long-term customer relationships. Okay? Now, i-share ko lang to ng konti pero hindi ko siya masyadong di-discuss, no? Pero basically, for every customer, there's like a process that they go through. The first stage really is unaware. When you say unaware, that means that the customer doesn't know anything about your product, they don't know your company, right? So they start off with that. And eventually, every company, just like, kaya nga meron tayong mga ads, diba? We want them to be aware of what our company offers. And that's awareness. Now, when they are aware, something about what you said will give them that sense of interest. Parang maganda yung produkto na yan. Okay, itong company na to diba? And then they go into the evaluation part. Sige nga, matry ko nga yan. Maybe, if, lalo na yung mga, diba, kaya nga minsan may mga testers, ganyan. And then finally, they will try to buy their own, pero small scale lang. They would probably try maybe, kunyari kung pad paper, sorry, pad paper na isip ko. Kunyari kung notebook yan, isang maliit lang na notebook muna. Diba? But eventually, when they see that it's really good, do you want them to go to the adoption level? This is actually where you have the long-term relationship. Adoption stage na siya, where your customer is really using your product or going back to your company regularly. They look up for more. Now, our goal as a customer service provider is for us to be able to move them up that adoption stage the quickest possible time. We want them to be advocates. We want them to be loyal customers the soonest possible time. Right? So yun yung goal natin. Okay? Now, with that, we need to understand what it means, what lifetime customer value means. So, just keep this in mind. The main reason, and this makes a lot of sense, okay? Para siyang yung mga, nilagay kong picture dito, yung may lock, diba? Sa mga, I think sa Europe may mga ganyan. Sorry, hindi ko alam kung saan siya meron. No, so, it's about, sabi nga, you lock in that relationship with the customer. Just keep in mind, sabi nga, that the main reason customers leave is not actually your product, issue, or pricing. Minsan nga, nakakalimutan naman nila yun eh. They get over it. But customers actually leave because of poor service. And I'm very sure for you as a customer, you've probably left some of your service providers because of the poor service. Like maybe you've changed your maybe your phone line or your internet provider because it takes forever to talk to a customer service provider. That's poor service, right? Or maybe ano pa ba? Simply lang, yes, you're able to connect, but when you talk to them, they do not really assist you at all. You're just a statistic, so to speak, when you call, right? There. Or in a restaurant maybe, diba? Poor service can mean they don't serve you willingly, diba? They don't anticipate that you need something. They actually avoid. There are some like who are like that, you know. So, more on understanding the lifetime customer value, just remember that every interaction, nilagay ko interaction, hindi lang kasi call eh. Sometimes it can be an email, it can be a chat. It should not be viewed just as a single value. But you have to look at it from a potential lifetime value. What do I mean by this? For example, kunyari umorder ka, let's say that you ordered something online, okay? And then you called in kasi medyo may delay ng konti yung delivery. You called in customer service to find out what happened to your order. But somehow the rep that she talked to did not really assist them the right way. So ending off the call, the customer ended up canceling an order. Okay? Now, some of us might think that the company lost that order alone. But then you have to look into the history of that customer. What if that customer is a regular buyer? What if that customer, let's say, we talk about, let's say, dollars, since mostly some of your clients would be in the US, right? Let's say that they usually buy $100 every month. So $100 in a month, that means 1,200 or $1,200 in a year. In a lifetime, how much would that cost? That is actually your lifetime customer value. That is what your customer or your company actually lost. That's the value of the service that you provide for that company or your client. Okay? Now, so, sa iba, how they see it or they define lifetime customer value on a more technical note, it is the financial assessment of a customer from first to last contact over a span of time. And the span of time can be, I would say, forever, right? Sometimes it can be until the end of time, right? Kasi pwedeng customer mo talaga siya magmula nung, I'm very sure you have been a loyal customer to something. You have been probably, like for us moms, right? Some of you might be using the same baby care products that you have been using when you were a kid. Kasi masaya yung experience mo doon. You keep coming back for it. And so when you had your own child, you had to use the same thing, right? So it's over a span of time and you never really know. Baka pag lola na kayo, that's also the same thing that you will use. So that's defines your lifetime customer value to a company. That said, yun din yung dapat mini-measure natin sa ating mga customers. You look forward to, really maximizing that customer value or lifetime customer value. Okay? So, but keep this in mind. This is actually more of for sales, no? But no doesn't mean never. So sometimes you get frustrated, let's say when we don't make a sale, because in customer service sometimes you're also required to do upselling. That's part of your key metric, kumbaga, no? But no, sometimes with just being patient over a period of time, that no may become a yes. So no doesn't mean never. That means that eventually, that yung lifetime customer value na sinasabi mo, maybe now you don't see it yet because the customer isn't buying from your company yet. But remember how we defined customer service earlier. We said it's provision of services before, during, and after. So even if the customer isn't your customer yet and is still saying no, you still have to provide them the right customer service or excellent customer service. Okay? Just keep this in mind. And this is something integral for anyone who's involved in customer service. Customers would always be the lifeblood of every business. In fact, and this I instilled in my brain before, talagang instill nyo to sa ano nyo na, they are the reason why we have our jobs. If you don't have customers, if you no longer have customers, kasi minsan sabi na, ano ba to? They keep on calling us. And I hope they stop calling us. But when you think about it, if they stop calling you, if they stop emailing you, then you won't have a job. So think about perspective again. It's how you view things, right? So even if a customer may be irate, and just a sharing, I've had several customers before. They started the call, being irate and all, but when you are able to fix their concerns, sometimes you end up making a sale at the end. So it's all about sincerely and genuinely helping a customer and really answering their needs and wants. That's what really matters. Okay? Just keep that in mind. It's a helpful thing for me to think about that they are the reason why I have a job. Right? Kasi like ngayon, sa pandemic, when you think about it, maraming nawalan ng work, primarily kasi nawalan ng customers, diba? And it just basically shows that without these customers, there's a risk of us losing our job. So we need to really be of service sa ating mga customers. Okay? Now, think about this one. You have the what we call the power of one. Okay? You can choose. Nakikita niyo yung light bulbs dito sa image na sinishare ko, 'di ba? You can be one of those pundidong bulbs, busted bulbs, or you can be that one light bulb that can make an impact, right? For that specific customer. Now, and it will always be your choice. It will be your choice whether you make a positive or a negative impact on the customer. So, it's up to you. It is, again, your choice, okay? So, kanina may nagtanong what's the difference between customer service and excellent customer service. So, I'll let you read this for a moment. Sabi dito, when you get into the habit by using simple, effective, and professional ways of phrase usage, you will, without a doubt, have a satisfied customer. This is because you have provided excellent customer service. Okay? You know, ang excellent customer service actually is a notch higher than customer service. There's a concept of customer service and customer satisfaction. There's even customer delight. Okay? Customer delight is higher than customer service. Okay? Kasi dati, noong unang panahon, sabi nila, companies would only eye for, just customer satisfaction. Masatisfy ko lang yung kailangan ng customer and that's it. I'm done. Okay? But every company is doing that. Every company is doing customer satisfaction. Now, what will set your company apart? So now they thought of, it has to be more than just customer satisfaction. It has to be excellent customer service. There has to be something different about what we do. Maybe a little energy or a lot more energy towards the end of a call, or maybe a certain phrase that you have to say with, we call it delight. It eventually progressed to customer delight, where there's something that the customer will para siyang LSS that your customers will remember about your company after the call. That's what we want to happen. In fact, there's even what we call and I mentioned this last night when I was introducing the community report. There's even this concept of net promoter score as well that was conceptualized before. This is something that was patterned over, and I guess it's okay to mention a certain brand of motorcycle. In the US, it's Harley Davidson. I think some of you are familiar with it. They don't really do advertisements, but what they actually do is they get by word of mouth, and because of very good customer feedback, customer experience, it's an overall or a total customer experience that they get every time they interact with someone from the company, that they themselves would be a net promoter. Okay? So ito yung natin. Basically, when a customer calls in, ang goal sana din natin is somehow have more promoters out of our customers. The question that they would need to answer is, how likely would a customer recommend your company to a friend? You as a freelancer, how likely would your client recommend you to her friend? Kasi tayo, nagpo-provide din tayo ng customer service. We are customer service providers as well as freelancers, right? Now, how they answer that would either make them either a promoter, they can either be passive, or they can be a detractor. Now, unfortunately, in a scale of 1 to 10, usually yung promoter, mga 9 or 10 lang yan. Passive would be around the 6 to 8, and then 5 to below, minsan nga 6 and below, are already detractors. Meaning, and chances are, there are more people who actually, with just one single negative interaction with your company, will end up being a detractor, right? So now you see the value of really good customer service every time there's an opportunity for a customer to interact with the company, or you, the customer service provider. Okay? So now, ito yung pinag-usapan natin ngayon lang. You know what is customer service? You already know how to know your customers' needs. You also know now the importance of customer feedback and complaints. And of course, I'm always an advocate of training and development. In customer service or even in sales, that's very important. And always look up to this one. If you will be involved in customer service or even sales or any kind of job, actually, you have to always goal for long-term customer relationships. Okay? There. So, ito yung iba pa mga customer service related topics that we will be offering maybe in the future. Although pag-uusapan pa namin to ni na Mami MK. Mami MK, are you there? There. So, I hope that I'll see you in the next webinars and trainings. I-minimize ko lang to. May mga tanong ba? Parang feeling ko yung iba may mga tanong pa na hindi ko nasagot. Actually, I think I mostly talked, right? But I hope you learned something. Nakita ko naman yung iba ninyong mga comments dun sa sa ating live, no? And ito, sabi, may difference po ba ang customer service rep and call center agent? If yes, what it is po? Actually, ang customer service rep, kasi very generic term ang customer service rep, no? When you say customer service rep, it doesn't necessarily mean call or sabi nga nila voiced or non-voiced. Okay? Usually kasi pag sabi mong call center agent, it is a voiced account. Meaning, puhunan mo is yung boses mo, right? There are also other customer service reps who are not voiced ang accounts nila. Meaning, some of them will be involved in maybe email. Actually, ngayon, pag inisip natin, kahit yung mga social media marketers, they're also involved in customer service. Yung kung paano sila sasagot, those are also customer service related jobs. So you can classify them as also customer service representatives there. Nasa pa? I had a customer. Yeah, sometimes may mga nangyayari talaga na beyond our control. When and you have to somehow be honest with your customers. Many times receive neutral feedback even though we feel that we are able to address the issue or concern. Okay lang sana na neutral, wag lang comments most of the time. How to deal with this po kaya? Yeah. Sometimes it would really be a challenge for you to go beyond what's normal. 'Di ba? Kumbaga sa nag-aaral tayo, passing versus flying with colors, 'di ba? So, maybe you have to find out sometimes it would help if there's a way for you to record your calls or yung mga interactions ninyo. Pwede mong balikan kasi yun eh. What did you do? What could you have done differently so that the next time the customer will call in, ito pala yung gagawin ko. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have offered this. Maybe I should have asked this. There might be something that you have missed so that slowly but surely they will not just have a neutral feedback, but eventually they would end up having positive feedback, positive enough to become a promoter and not just a neutral or a passive customer. Okay? Ano pa? There you go. Any other questions? So far, masaya po ang Do you offer training, ma'am? Yes, we will be having trainings. Although, I think I'll still have to talk with Mommy MK as to what will we be offering, specifically yung outline natin. Ang main goal ko talaga is to have, more people. Kasi nakita ko dun sa mga replies din kahapon, no? I remember meron pa isa doon na nag-comment dun sa question ko kahapon na parang, uy, ang gagaling nila mag-English. Sabi niya ganun, parang na-overwhelm ata siya, ganyan. But lahat yan nati-training, and aside from training, with practice, you'd be equipped enough to be a CSR. And I think it's important also to understand that there are lots of opportunities out there that would require you to have good customer service skills. It's a must-have. Generally, as I've said, as a freelancer, you need to have good customer service skills. If you don't know what customer service means, every client, every proposal that you will be submitting will be more of like a transactional proposal. Meaning, parang isang tanong, isang sagot, and there's no extra mile. The customer, remember, it's not just you who's trying to get the post. You probably have a lot of competitions who are also trying to get the same job. So, you have to have the right training. And again, sabi ko nga kanina, the right skill, the right mindset. You have to be prepared. Kami nga nun, as a CSR, ang training namin, not 2 years, sorry, not 2 years, 2 months. 2 months kami nun na training. I don't know with the other centers. Nung nagtitraining ako doon, meron akong mga accounts na 1 month, meron akong mga accounts na, and some of those do not even include the accent part or the American accent training or the English or communication skills part. It's just mainly process training. So there are different types of trainings involved as a CSR. Some of them are very specific to accounts. Some of them would be general in nature. Like, for example, if you talk about the skills that you need to have, like communication skills, listening skills, these are things that sound very simple, but in fact, if you don't learn them, if you don't prepare for them, you're going to have a hard time when you talk to your customers. Especially that there's always going to be a disconnect between your customers. Culturally speaking, there's a big difference between what a customer or how an American customer would think, an Australian customer would think. Even the way they speak is totally different as well, right? So yon. May question ba? There you go. Ang course daw natin for customer service would be in August, sabi ni Mommy MK. Okay? We're going to talk about it. And I know very passionate si Mommy MK kasi nga I know she would not have thought about customer service if it's not something that is needed by the community that we're in. I know for a fact it is needed. It is a must-have na dapat talaga lahat tayo, actually dapat nga integral na sa atin yun eh. But of course, not all of us are born with it. Even big call centers and BPOs, they really invest hard on training. Every company, whatever the service or service or products that they provide, should always employ good customer service. Okay? Any other question? Hello. Ang tahimik nyo naman. Hello. Do you have any other questions? Di ako sanay ng tahimik. Sanay ako sa face-to-face. Okay, so with that, I hope you learned a lot, and I'll be ending this live Q&A for now. You can get in touch with me or FHMOMS to inquire, and salamat for your time. I really appreciate that you joined me today. Have a great day, have a great night, have a great weekend. Be safe, stay safe, and God bless you all. Bye!
At the end of the day, sabi ko nga, it's all about His glory, God and God alone. With that, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe. Please do watch my videos and give me comments. Like it if you like those videos as well. Bye!